Super Saiyan 4 has been the most requested Awoken skill to be added to Xenoverse 2, and with many years that have passed by since the last DLC Awoken skill, let's talk about how Super Saiyan 4 would function, how to unlock it, and what I think this transformation would be like if we actually got it in this Daima DLC pack. So about the Super Saiyan 4 Awoken skill, will it happen? Let's talk about this. I've gotten a lot of requests to do a full-on speculation before DLC Pack 19 releases. As you guys know, when a DLC releases for Xenoverse 2, we do get a free update a day right before. I don't know how they're going to handle it this time around, just because Xenoverse changes up a lot, and more recently, the DLC and how they've been doing releases is a little bit different, but Super Saiyan 4 definitely needs to be the next Awoken skill. I am not saying that we are getting this. There's no confirmation. There hasn't been any leaks or anything, okay? This is all pure speculation and predictions and just hopes and wishes, honestly, because let's be real, it's Dimps. We know how Dimps is as a developer, and, you know, they just, I don't know, they're very weird about how they do Awoken skills. I know they take a lot more work than people would expect, just because they have to think about balancing with the other Awoken skills and other characters, and, you know, they're definitely thinking about the online situation with it, okay? Even though this is a fun game and a lot of us do play it for fun, they still have to take in consideration how it can be balanced among the other, you know, transformations and characters and stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into this. But before we do, guys, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like on this video, if we can reach 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours, guys, I'll do some more speculation videos and just videos in general for Xenoverse 2, because I'm very, very excited for this DLC. As y'all are aware, the Daima anime for the dub, the English dub, has fully completed. It's done. Okay, on Friday, we got to hear Sean go crazy, by the way. All right, if you didn't watch it, Sean and Chris, they absolutely cooked, okay? Their Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 transformations were very iconic. Their ultimate attacks were amazing. It was truly everything that I wanted for the Daima dub, and I'm going to do my rewatch here pretty soon. So I'm very excited for that, but definitely go check that out if you guys want to get a good idea of how Super Saiyan 4 Adult Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Adult Vegeta will sound in the video games when those eventually get dubbed. So with those being finally done and dubbed, there's really no excuse now to not have any dub within the actual games. Okay, I would say, you know, hopefully within the next like month or two, or before some of the big DLC drops. If we're lucky, when the Xenoverse 2 DLC 19 drops for the Daima pack, I'm hoping that it will have English dub. If it doesn't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I mean, it just, I don't know, it helps with the immersion and the experience, right? But let's go ahead and jump into it. Hopefully, we will be getting this DLC this week, either this week or next week. That's it. That's like the you know, latest that I would expect it, just because it's May, the end of May is here, and they need to drop this shit. So, let's go over why I think an Awoken skill is definitely due for the game. Again, I'm not saying that we are getting one. I'm just saying that by the pattern of how they release Awoken skills, as you can see on screen, they generally do it every, like, 2 to 3 years, with the exception of the very early Awoken skills. Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, or Evolution Blue, were pretty close. They were only about a year apart. With DLC Pack 6 that released, they had a free update right before, in 2018, that dropped Super Saiyan Blue. Okay, that was our first, like, DLC Awoken skill, or like Awoken skill update, like an added Awoken skill, okay? Not one of them that was already existing, okay? We've had Super Saiyan 1 through 3, we've had, you know, Future Super Saiyan, Super Vegeta, Potential Unleashed, we had all that shit, right? Fast forward a year later in DLC Pack 9, this was about 3 DLCs later, we got Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, which is just a better version of Super Saiyan Blue that drains more ki. That's, you know, basically it. So it wasn't really that difficult for them to make, right? Then it took a very long time for us to get to the next one, which was in 2021 at DLC Pack, I believe, 13, which was the one with full power Jiren and base Gogeta that could transform, right? That was Super Saiyan God. Now, I know this is out of order. That's just how they did it. I don't know why they didn't do Super Saiyan God first. They just went straight to Super Saiyan Blue. But we eventually got Super Saiyan God, and I think it was to kind of play on the Broly movie in a way, because the Broly movie brought back Super Saiyan God in like a big way. We got to see Vegeta use it for the very first time in an animated format, right? So that's definitely a longer time. Okay, it was about 2 years after the last one, and it was several DLCs after. Was it DLC pack 9 to 13? So that's like, what, 4 more DLCs we had to wait for it? Which, again, I can kind of understand it because they did have like a break period in 2020 where they didn't release any DLC content. It was a free update with Supreme Kai at times. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt with that. I'll, you know, be a little bit lenient on that, right? Then another 2 years passed by, okay? And we actually got 2 Awoken skills in the same year. This was a big surprise to me for both Awoken skills in general. 2023 dropped the DLC pack 16. Okay, so that's another 3 DLCs later. And that was Beast. Okay, the Beast was a big surprise because I actually did not expect us to even get Beast. And it was so quick after the movie release. I was like, God damn, like, we had to kind of wait a while for a lot of these, right? Super Saiyan Blue, Evolved Blue, and Super Saiyan God was definitely a long wait after they've been revealed in the anime. And they've, you know, had their character debuts in, like, the video games and stuff. But the debut of Beast Gohan as a playable character with DLC Pack 16 also dropped his Beast Awoken skill for custom characters. So really cool stuff. I still think it's a great Awoken skill. It's very glass cannon based. You know, you take a lot of damage, but you also give out a lot of damage, right? Then we fast forward a few months in October, okay, because this was in May of 2023. We got this DLC Pack 16 with the update for the Beast. But in, I think it was like the fall, I think it was October, if I recall correctly, for the, was it the 7-year anniversary? I think it was. That dropped Ultra Instinct, which I think is a pretty good, reasonable time to drop it. I know we waited a long time for it. We thought that Ultra Instinct was going to be the next one after Blue Evolved, or even Super Saiyan God. But, hey, better late than never. I think it was a good update, and I like the skill because it was kind of like the complete opposite of Beast. It was very defensive. You know, it didn't boost any, you know, like, damage or any of that shit. It was just, like, purely defensive base, and it had a lot of cool new mechanics to it. Like, you could have the integrated key charge, and you had your auto dodge. You had a lot of counters and shit. You could counter into the transformation, which was really cool as well. They really did cook with this, and it's definitely up there as one of the coolest, most, you know, unique Awoken skills, right? Because the other ones, they really just, they just do kind of all the same stuff. It's like stat changes. That's pretty much it. But Ultra Instinct was like, okay, well, let's, you know, deviate away from that and let's try something new, right? So it's been 2 years. Not a full 2 years, but it's definitely been 2 years since we got our last Awoken skill, right? It's been 2 years since the Beast Awoken skill. So let's talk about Super Saiyan 4. Now, there's been a lot of speculation, or I guess more of like a hope, that we would get both versions of it, okay? DLC Pack 19 is Daima related, so that's why a lot of us think that Super Saiyan 4 could be included with this. And it's not in the pack, by the way. It would be a free update. They never charge money for Awoken skills, because that would be stupid. But they could do that if they wanted to. But yeah, I digress. Super Saiyan 4 GT version and a Daima version. I'm going to go over both versions and kind of the differences for them. Now, I think with Super Saiyan 4, now I've done this, like, you know, stat change or whatever a million times. This is the one that I like the best. It's not, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. It's just like, you know, a concept, okay? So obviously this, I feel like, would cost 5 key bars. A lot of the premium new Awoken skills, like, you know, Super Saiyan Blue, Evolved, and what is it, Beast, they use up a lot of key. And Super Saiyan 4 is a pretty high-end transformation, right? So yeah, 5 key bars, makes sense. 20 plus damage, or sorry, not 20 plus, 20% damage up. Now, I put all damage on here, but if we were to get, let's say, both of them, for example, if they release both of them at the same time, not saying they are, but I'm just saying, for example, I think that Super Saiyan 4 would probably benefit more of being key-based. So, like, key damage, like key attacks and stuff. Or, like, blast attacks, if that makes more sense. And then the Daima version would be more like melee physical-based, right? Just because it's more like... The Daima version is a lot more primal, right? Everything is just, like, punches and kicks and all that shit. So I think that'd be kind of a cool idea. Y'all let me know down in the comments what you would think. Get a 20% damage resistance, speed increase by 15%, and key restoration race minus 35%. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like playing into how the other Awoken skills are. I try to like keep it as fair and balanced as possible, but I don't know. You guys be the judge of it, okay? Now, when it comes to the unlock method for GT, okay, obviously, I think the max friendship type of deal is a pretty reasonable thing. max friendship with Pan and Goku, then you talk to Pan, and then you fight Grade 8 Baby. So I like the idea of these newer Awoken skills like Beast and Ultra Instinct where you do a little bit of stuff. I mean, Ultra Instinct was very easy to unlock. You just fight Jiren. He's just in the lobby. Anybody can get him. But with Beast, I like that method probably the best because there's a little bit of grinding to it. You know, you had to put in a little bit of effort. So I like that. I don't like... Not that I don't like it. I like having something very easy, but it's better when you have something to work for because it's all the more satisfying when you actually get it, right? So the max friendship type of deal with Pan and Goku, and then after you've completed that, you can talk with Pan, and you have a little Grade 8 Baby, you know, match, and then you unlock the Awoken skill. Exactly like how Beast was, right? I like the idea of that more, but y'all can let me know down in the comments your opinions on how that would work, okay? Now that's for GT. Now for Daima, let's talk about how the stats will be. So this is pretty much exactly the same as I had for the other Super Saiyan 4, but I think it would be melee based for damage increase. So instead of all damage, it would just be melee based, okay? Again, you guys be the judge, but it would still, you know, I think cost 500 key bars, damage resistance plus 20%, speed increase 15%, and key restoration rate negative 35%, okay? And when it comes to the appearance of it, if let's say just for example we got both of them, or even if we got the Daima one. Now Super Saiyan 4 as an actual transformation, just like the GT version, is pretty simple. Okay, I don't want to say simple because it's got a lot of, you know, unique stuff to it. Obviously you have the fur, right? And how would that work with the legs, right? Are there fur on the legs? I would assume so, right? Because if you have a custom character that has short pants on or like no pants at all, what will the legs look like? Now, I have a feeling if they did do this, they'd take the very lazy route, and I know people would bitch about it, but I would just be happy that we got Super Saiyan 4, would be to make it just look like Goku. It would be like a Goku costume change. I know that's awful, but it keeps it very, how would I say it? It keeps it very simple, and the idea that your character's clothing changes within a transformation is actually an official thing for Dragon Ball, right? You can see Goku, his outfit does change when he goes Super Saiyan 4 from, you know, GT to, you know, Super Saiyan 4, right? When he's a little kid, right? So, yeah, the outfit does change up a bit. Same thing with Vegeta. Like, he gets, like, full gloves instead of the fingerless gloves and shit. And, you know, there's some differences with it, which is, it's a weird thing, but that's just how it is with Dragon Ball. The transformation, you know, fucks with the outfit, right? And with Super Saiyan 4, with GT, it's a very slight change. I think it's mainly, like, the wristbands and like the belt or some shit. Yeah, I digress. So it would probably be like that, okay? But with the Daima one is a little bit more unique because people would probably, you know, wonder like, hey, would we get the giant arms? I don't think so. I don't think that they would put in that effort because look at Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. You don't get all that larger, and Evolved Blue does make you more buff, okay? And it gives you like that vein on your forehead. They didn't do that, right? They would take the lazy route and probably just be... It would literally be the Super Saiyan 4 GT version, but you would have red hair. And obviously, you know, the little changes there. If they are doing it that way, right? But I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments how you think that would work. Now, the unlock method for this one I think would be a lot cooler and different. I think you would do just max friendship with Goku because Daima Goku was the only character to actually get it, right? And then you would talk with Neva as an NPC, right? And then you'd fight Goma. Now, that's only if they actually add Goma in the game. They could add him as an actual playable DLC character or a giant character boss. Either way, it's similar to the GT method. That one you would fight Grade 8 Baby. This one you would fight Giant Goma, right? Or just Goma in general, right? But having Neva as an NPC would be really cool because it's a very simple thing. Neva unlocked the transformation for Goku. He gave him that extra push that he needed to awaken it for the first time as, you know, a little kid, as Mini. And then he was able to tap into it at will later on, right? But that's how I think Super Saiyan 4 would work in this game. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing. There's also the moving tail situation. So about the moving tail situation, that's a separate video. I'm joking. I'm gonna talk about that real quick. So the moving tail. Would we get an active moving tail in the game? I would love that, but they also wouldn't. They don't have to actually do that. They can just have the transformation give you the tail, right? Because when Daima Goku transformed, he grew a tail. He didn't already have a pre-existing tail like in GT. GT, they fucking did a literal ass pull and pulled the tail out of his tailbone so that he could actually get the transformation, right? But with Daima, it was different. And I would assume it's the same situation as an adult. When Goku taps into it, I mean, you don't see it happen, but the tail would have to grow. You see it whenever he goes from Super Saiyan 3 Mini to Super Saiyan 4. That's the situation with that. So, I don't know. I'd like to read your comments and feedback on how you think Super Saiyan 4 would be. Even if we don't get it, it's fun to talk about this stuff. It's like me just fantasizing. Like, let's be real. Most of us, all we can do is fantasize when it comes to these video games and like the anime and like these concepts and stuff. That's why speculation and fan, ideas are always more fun than anything, even if we never get it. And who knows, we might get it. We might. There's a very small chance that we do, right? Maybe a little bit bigger than that just because it is the Daima pack, right? Dimps. Bandai. Please do not fail us. But yeah, hopefully next week we get information or the trailer drop and then the release date. Praying on it. If it doesn't happen, whatever, we know it's coming, right? We know it's coming. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe here on the channel, ring my notification bell, and y'all have an amazing rest of your weekend. Peace out.
This is Broly, and you are watching Slow Plays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet!